banding together with your fellow man and not thinking about yourself, you will not allow it. You will stand at the end of your street and not allow them to repossess the properties. Are you going to do that? Are you going to stand with your fellow man against tyranny? Now we're going to hear from an amazing woman. She's in Ireland. I can't even really go into everything that she's done. I mean, all of her. She spoke out continually. She was held for 3 hours in the airport in Dublin recently. I think there's like 20 of her because she's kind of here, there and everywhere. I want to hear you have a great big round of applause for not only a colleague, she's a friend, she's soon going to be helping myself and Dr. Kevin Corbett to set up a new nursing and midwifery board. Let's hear it for Professor Dolores Cahill! My name is Dolores Cahill. I'm from Tipperary. I grew up in a little farm up Tip. I'm from Ireland. And I wanted to say to hello because all Irish people and everyone in the British Isles are brothers and sisters. So hello, my brothers and sisters, and we are your brothers and sisters. So I'm here today because I spent 20 years in immunology, but in 2014, why I'm really here, even though I'm a scientist, is that I came back from Brussels, the European Commission, one night, and there was a form for the HPV vaccine for my daughter, and there was no leaflet about the adverse events. And can you imagine, I know that there are almost 200 times more chance of having an adverse event from the HPV vaccine at the age of 12 than the chance at 50 that you might get cervical cancer. So if you just remember and imagine what it's like that I am a scientist, I'm an immunologist, and I know that vaccines can make people sick, but I'm also a mother. And if you didn't know what I knew, you would have trusted the government. You would have trusted the doctors. You would have trusted the regulators and the media. And why we're here today is that I can tell you they have breached that trust. They put out a leaflet to say that vaccines have been safety tested. Have they been safety tested? No. They tell you in a little leaflet the only thing that's going to happen if you get vaccinated is a little swelling. Is that true? No. You can get multiple sclerosis. You can get juvenile arthritis. You can get anaphylactic shock. You can get allergies. And when I've been talking to the parents, there's about 12 different autoimmune diseases you can get. And the girls that get them, they get all of them together. So that we're here. Is anyone here a parent? Is anyone here an aunt, an uncle, a cousin? Is anyone here a grandparent, a neighbor? We are here to say that the truth will win out. They can't keep hiding it. The truth will win out. So what's really going on, I want to say about this coronavirus, I've just finished a report I've been working on for 2 months. And I want to honor about 20 people in Ireland, including one of the barristers here today, Martin, and all the people at home like Howard and Tracy and Dave and Fintan, they all know who they are, and Eamon. Because we have come together because We've been working for the doctors and the Department of Health and the General Register's Office and the Chief Statistics Office, and not me but other people have been using this notice of liability. And we were writing to the doctors, Department of Health, and saying, who is signing the death certs? Okay, because to solve this problem, this is a global problem, you have to actually lay the problem down at an actual doctor who is a person, or the minister, or the Prime Minister in Ireland, Micheál Martin, or Boris Johnson. So we were writing and saying, who signed the death certs? And the doctors were saying, it's not us, go to the Department of Health. The Department of Health was saying the General Register's Office. But it turns out in Ireland, the responsibility lies with the coroners. And those coroners, there's an act, and if they don't do an autopsy and they don't do their job and question a diagnosis of COVID-19, the coroners can go to prison. And the crime is malfeasance. And in the UK, it's 10 years in prison. So also, all of you, if you're a parent and your teacher is saying that your child has to be tested for temperature, your child has to wear a mask, your child may have to get a vaccine without permission, then you can actually charge the teacher. You can put a notice of liability this weekend, and if they do it, you can hold them to account. So you can write your own notice of liability or search for one. It's very simple. If you, teacher, are putting a mask on my child, I will do it. We have a letter, yeah, and we will put it on where we have World Doctors Alliance, and we also have different organizations. But with that letter, what we've done in Ireland, people have written to the coroners, and they were telling us the deaths, sadly, were 1,700. But we have been writing since May. And now, in the last week, the Chief Statistics Office in Ireland has come because we laid the responsibility at their door. And they said the total number of people that died in Ireland of coronavirus in November, December, January 2020, February 2020, and March 2020, guess how many people? Zero! So all of this legislation, this public health emergency that Boris has brought in, and Matt Hancock, and Priti Patel, who's going to call the police if you have 7 people in your back garden, it's all based on a public health emergency. How can you have a public health emergency if 0 people die? 0. And what I would be saying to you is, Ireland and England, Wales and Scotland, we're all in the same region. So the coronavirus peak is between December and April. If nobody is dying, official statistics, then the legal basis of the public health emergency is not there. End the lockdown. Freedom and truth. Freedom and truth. So what we have to do to end this, all of you are here. So one of the things, the main things you have to do is to imagine a world where politicians actually did what they were supposed to do and make our lives better. You imagine that? Remember the politician that you might have admired? And then in your mind's eye, you have to say, well, we are going to register for elections, and you are going to stand for election, or you're going to build a network of people from your county here today. And all the other thing you can do is with your MP, get 500 people to sign and recall those members of Parliament. Recall Boris Johnson. Recall Matt Hancock. Recall Priti Patel. You have the power to do it. And you don't have to, one message is, don't waste your energy energy on trying to wake up people, because there's a Native American expression, you can't wake up people that are not asleep. You can't wake up people. So that principal knows that it's wrong. The restaurant owner knows it's wrong to track and trace you. The good police here on duty, they know in their hearts and souls what they're doing is wrong. And it's simply not good enough. It is not good enough for a restaurant owner to say it's the guidelines. It's simply not good enough for a teacher to take the temperature of a child to force them to wear masks because they are psychologically undermining them. Where are the doctors? Well, they're here, but where is everyone else? Where are the doctors, the psychiatrists? So what you can do, you can write a notice of liability, you can write to your members of parliament, you can try and get Boris Johnson recalled, Matt Hancock, Priti Patel, because those people are not working for England, for Wales, for Scotland, for Ireland. They're working for themselves. They are betraying you. They are cowards. What they are doing is treason. They are killing people. They are psychologically damaging children. And I am calling again that if they are instigating the lockdown one day more, they have to debate the good doctors and scientists, and we are supported by people we know like Robert Kennedy, Judy Mikovich, Sherry Tenpenny, Andrew Kaufman, Dr. Stefan Lanka, and someone who I really admire, the lawyer Rico Gelati, who is supporting us. And I got a call from Heiko Schröder, who's the organizer of the German inquiry on about 3 million people on the streets of Berlin. And we are working together. Heiko is planning a march in Berlin. He wants 10 million people. 10 million people. We are also, I'm supporting a group called ISO FIA of Sofia. And together with my group of 12 countries, we now have over 30 countries, including Ireland, the UK, Germany, Argentina, Uruguay, Peru, Mexico, New Zealand. And we are working together to share information, but with Rocco Gelati, with Josefina from Spain, and I hope with Heiko in Germany, we're going to set up an international tribunal, an international court. And we are going to hold people to account. And next week, we are publishing my report of call for a public inquiry. But I am personally going to be holding the Irish Prime Minister of Taoiseach, Micheál Martin, to account, and the Health Minister, Seamus Donnelly. Because like in the UK and Ireland, they've shut down the hospitals. So that means hundreds of people are not getting cancer diagnosis. People with heart attacks are not going to hospital. The elderly are isolated in the care homes, and they are psychologically damaging the children in the schools, the next generation. So there are 0 deaths in Ireland. We have to hold Micheál Martin to account. You have to hold Boris Johnson to account. We will do it. Support us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this lady works like no one else. Professor Dolores Cahill. The Irish flag. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see me in the Daily Mail today. If you haven't, go and have a look. The last doctor that they slaughtered, who is a legend, I've read his books. He was right all the way along. The only reason he didn't get his registration back was his insurance wasn't enough. But instead they slandered him. He is an absolute god. Tomorrow I join him on a podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Andrew Wakefield on the screen.
London, it is so good to be with you again. My family motto is nil desperandum, never despair. Despair is a state of inertia, of panic, from which irrational and fateful choices come. Despair is a state that our adversaries seek to bring upon us, only to be followed by the promise, the false promise of benevolent control. That is not the people of England, not the people of the UK or the free world. You do not look to me like people given to despair. We are now faced with the unambiguous fact that this particular coronavirus had its origins at the hands of scientists. It was made by man. Such precarious experimentation has been denounced by many, but they cannot own the data, coercion to comply or face arrest, fines and exclusion from society. It can be achieved by ignoring safe and effective alternative treatments that have been ignored, sidelined, and fraudulently misrepresented. That has been the case. I've just released a new film, 1986, The Act, that for certain the authorities do not wish you to see. A film about how bad policy concerning unsafe vaccines based on industry fraud can infect the entire world. How it can give the vaccine makers such power, such wealth, that they can own the politicians, they can write policy, they own the media, they own doctors and medical training, they own the medical journals, they own almost everything. But they cannot own the hearts and minds of the public. They do not own your hearts nor your mind. They must not take our freedoms from us. You stand with many, many people worldwide who hold your beliefs, and I stand with you.